Hello guys, I'm Futureal. I stream 5 days a week over on twitch.tv/Futureal, and in this video we are checking out the Project Diablo 2 Season 9 beta servers. And I have decided I'm going to play a melee build this season. I haven't been playing a lot of melee in Project Diablo 2, even if ever. It's not really one of my favorite builds. So therefore, we are going to create a unconventional melee build, something that you normally wouldn't play. And in this video, there's going to be 3 builds, and you can help or even guess which build we are going to play for the next season. Make sure you do that in the comments underneath. So the ones we are testing is Poison Dagger, we are testing the Jab, Fend, Amazon, and we're also doing a Phoenix Strike for the Assassin. I hope you like the video, and if you do, don't forget to leave a like and a subscribe, and also leave your comments down below with your guesses. Until next time, take care, and I will see you soon. Alright guys, this is the first character we are testing. We're gonna do 3 characters this season, melee characters. I'm gonna play a melee character this season. I have not decided yet which one I'm gonna play. So if you wanna guess, it's gonna be one of the 3 in this video. So you can write your comments underneath with your guess, and we will see. So firstly, we are playing a Jab Fend Zone using Zeray's Resolve, which is the one with the Joust on it. So this is all, of course, a endgame build, as we have to see how the build will perform on endgame, if there is any point in playing it. So let's quickly go over the gear, starting with the Mercenary. So we are utilizing the Innocence Ferocity combination. So basically what this does is that you see here chance to cast Taunt on Strike, and here you have Blade Shield. So Blade Shield is counted as a strike, meaning that when the Mercenary gets hit, the Blade Shield will proc Taunt. So this is basically a taunt machine, making melee characters considerably safer, allowing you to play characters that previously were a little bit too rippy, because obviously we are playing on hardcore difficulty. So, Innocence Ferocity combination here. Gore Riders, of course, string Laying of Hands, standard for a Mercenary, and we are using a Etin Axe Beast for our weapon, for the attack speed and for the enhanced damage. Character, obviously Call to Arms and Lidless on swap. We have Fals in here for some strength bugging purposes, so that we don't lose Leviathan or Crown of Ages when we swap into the other weapon. I'm actually not sure if it comes to play on this character specifically. It might not actually. Oh yeah, it does not, because there's no strength on the weapon. But we tried other characters, so just make sure that if you have a character that loses strength when you swap weapons, this is a nice way of making up for that. You can put Fals in your Battle Order's shield. Crown of Ages, Leviathan for the curse resistance. We also have all res in these jewels. We have attack speed in these jewels in the Crown of Ages. We are currently using a High Lord. I wouldn't necessarily recommend a High Lords for this build, but I'm going to explain to you why we have High Lords in a minute. Gore Rider, of course. We have a Ravenfrost. We have String. We have a Wisp Projector, and we are using Laying of Hands. There are different things you can do with this build when it comes to the gear, but this is what I found to be functioning at this time. So we have summoned the spirit from the Hard Wolverine. We have a fortified sewers map here. Have not tried sewers with this character, so it's going to be a new experience for all of us. But let's see how this goes. So we buff up, and we are using Joust, of course, to get close, and then we are using Fend. Normally you would also use Jab on a single target, but let's see how this goes. So remember, this is a fortified map, so these creatures have quite high health. And obviously it goes to... needless to be said, this is not going to be a S-tier build. But this is a very cool build. It's a melee build that you absolutely can play. But with the well-known mobility issues for Amazon, this would never be a S-tier build. But it is a solid build. It is a solid build, and with the rework to the dodge talents and the next hit delay and all that kind of stuff, this actually works quite well. So here, let me just quickly kill these. This is actually quite perfect that we ran across that creature, because what you should be playing on this character, in my opinion, is an Atmos. The reason we are not right now is because we would lose the attack speed, because we don't have any corruptions. So with Atmos, you would drop down to 85 on this beta server, but with the corruptions, attack speed on gloves and attack speed on belt, this would actually work. So I'm just mentioning that so that you can understand that you are supposed to be playing Atmos on this character.
Yes.
And it would make things a little easier. So with the amplified damage, it makes short work of that. You can, if you want, swap these when you need to. I do find it clunky. Quick showcase on the stats here as well. We have 61 critical strike plus the 33 from the ability. So we already have 94% chance of doing double damage with crit. So Deadly Strike loses almost all its value here. So with High Lords having so much Deadly Strike, it is kind of pointless to use it. The attack speed and the skill is nice, but it's possible to reach that 105 with just corrupting your gloves and belt with attack speed. So I would recommend to play Atmos for this character. And also the the Joust has a cool secondary skill with increased run walk spell, or increased run walk speed, excuse me. After you use Joust, you are running faster. So getting used to the timing of Joust and basically just jousting on cooldown will overall increase your movement speed the most. I wanted to take a look at the boss, because this seems quite quite simple here. Not really anything dangerous, but let's see how the boss. Oh, there's the boss. So I'm using jab on the boss, single target, and yeah, that guy regretted his final life choices. Pretty much destruction on this map right here. Well, we had a question from chat here, as you can see, about the Valkyrie. Let me go over the build real quick. I want to show you the choices I have made and try to explain the reason for it. So we only have 3 talents in Javelin and Spear that are worth taking. So that is the Javelin Spear Mastery, of course, Fend, which is our main AoE ability, and then we have Jab for a single target. All of the other ones are, in my opinion, suboptimal without any major synergies, so we just ignore all of them. And we have nothing in bow, of course, and then in passive, you would want to take this critical strike up to 59%, and that means that when you cast Battle Orders, you will gain the 61% critical strike chance after Battle Orders. And you can see it from the talent here that putting additional points in here is starting to become very ineffective, because you need more than 1 skill point to reach this any additional amount. And I only have 1 in Pierce, and I have only 1 in Penetrate. Quickly look at our chance to hit here. 95, 92% on the Sand Maggot. If you want to increase this, you can put in some extra dexterity. You could technically... Oh, wrong inventory. You could technically, instead of using skillers, you can have 1 or 2 max damage charms to even out that lack of attack rating. But for me, this is perfectly fine. I don't really care about that. But if you want to be picky about it and take that to 100%, you can do that in many different ways. So we have just Torch Anti-Skillers and some Life Rest Charms here in the inventory. But the build, let's continue. Nothing in bow, as I said, only 3 in Javelin. Critical Strike up to 59, so it becomes 61 with Battle Orders, 1 in Pierce, 1 in Penetrate, and then I max evade for the Run Walk first, and then the dodge chance, and then I dump the rest of the points in dodge here. So yeah, back to the question from the chat about Valkyrie. When Valkyrie is unsynergized, I don't really like using it. I think it creates a false sense of security, whereas because your damage is so high and you're the main damage dealer, of course, you get this impression that your Valkyrie is able to stay alive until it doesn't. So when you would need the Valkyrie, because you run into a cursed might pack or a fanaticism pack or whatever, it gets one shot, and then all of a sudden, because you are used to positioning yourself behind the Valkyrie and be safe, you are now taking shots to the face. It's the same reason I don't like using the clone on the assassin. It doesn't really do very much unless it's heavily synergized. So therefore, I chose to not even take it and rather rely on the mercenary instead, and free up my points to be stronger in other areas. So this character is level 95. That's where we test all the endgame characters. So yeah, this is a pretty strong character. Obviously not S tier. I would say this is like a B+ maybe. Fortified, very simple, very easy. Not very risky, particularly here in the sewers. First time I'm trying this sewer map, I must say, on this character. I do like this map, so if I am to play this character this season, I do think that I probably would do a lot of sewers on this character. She has very high damage. I think the only reason this character isn't an A tier build, or even higher than that, it's kind of twofold. I think that the area of effect from Fend, so the AoE area that Fend hits, is a little bit too small to be an A tier build. That's why I kind of say that it's around a B+ or something like this. And without the increased mobility, there's no chance this would be an S tier build or a top meta build. If you look at the Joust here, so the Joust cooldown is, let me not sit in front of that. So Joust cooldown 3.5 seconds, and just above that it says cooldown reduced by 0.1 per base point. So that means that this Joust spear cannot be decreased cooldown on Joust, no matter how many plus skills you have, because it's only a paladin that can put in more hard points in the skill that can lower the cooldown for Joust. And I think the Joust here is a little bit too long. If this was lowered to 2 might be a little bit too much, but maybe 2.5 seconds would be a good compromise, so you are able to Joust a little bit more often. It would make this build feel a little bit more fluent, maybe drag up the overall effectiveness, efficiency. So this would be, in fact, an A tier build. But at the moment, this is one of the characters that we are planning, or that we are considering for this season. So definitely check it out. It has ridiculous damage. Look at that, 11 to 39k. Maximum overcapped resistances, about 100 in all res. We're running curse resistance. We have damage reduction. So yeah, very cool build. So if you want to try something new, this is definitely one that you can play. You can also make one that is a little bit safer by going one-hander and shield. But I wanted the Joust, so I chose to go for a two-hander. But that was that. And now we can try another character. So, time for the second character that we are testing this season, the second of 3. So we're doing some melee character this season. I would say like unconventional melee character. We don't really want to do stuff that we can do in Resurrected. So this is in fact a poison dagger necromancer. I did try to make this character work last season when we were doing the meme build, but it was a little bit too clunky. It didn't feel great. And they have made a few changes to the character this season, so we have rebuilt it. And I'm going to showcase how this character plays in a minute. Let's go over the gear real quick. So we are playing Doom on this character because we are poison. Poison dagger is poison damage, shockingly enough. So the Holy Freeze from Doom and the crazy attack speed allows this ferocity innocence combination of a taunt bot. Basically what we have built the mercenary to be is a character that casts taunt as often as possible for safety reasons, and then you add Holy Freeze on top of that. The mercenary is going to be running a Blade Shield, proccing constantly, and also that will cast taunt constantly. We have some damage reduction, we have Gores and Laying of Hands. Pretty standard mercenary setup. Character, of course, CTA on swap. There are a lot of gear choices on this character. Basically, Innocence and Martyrdom work together extremely well. So Innocence will give you Blade Shield will proc Bone Armor, and you basically have infinite Bone Armor on your character. I chose to do this with Bramble for the extra poison damage. You definitely don't need to, but just for the sake of this video, we are gonna try it this way around. But as you can see, I do have the Innocence in my inventory. We also have Plague, which is a very good choice. It gives some FCR that you can utilize when you're doing the Blood Warps. Also gives negative enemy poison res, and you can have a poison strike on these daggers now. So we have actually 5 to poison strike in addition to 20 FCR and negative 20% enemy poison res, which is very, very nice. I'm using Steel Shade because we are playing a like a hybrid defensive build in a way. We are running 50% block. The Martyrdom does have quite high chance of blocking, and it's plus 35%. And then we are using Water Walks and Steel Shade to increase that even more. So we only put in 130 points in Dex to reach 50%. So that is pretty nice. Bramble, of course, as I mentioned, rocks, Triangle Gloves for the poison damage and the FCR. Nice for Blood Warp, and we are using Nature's Peace for the increased resistances. You can use other stuff here if you want to, but the Oak Sage is pretty nice. The extra health is pretty nice on this character because I'm going to show you the build. And then we are you can use Carrion Wind, you can use Wisp Projector for the extra skill, you can use SOJ if you want more mana. There are many options for rings here. If you don't want to play max block, you can go with Shaco and Marrow Walks. Yeah, there's tons and tons of different ways of gearing this character. You can even go Black Bogs Sharp here with Poison Facets instead of Plague if you want to do that. Many different ways of building this character, and it is all up to you. Poison and Bone Skillers, of course, Torch Annie, and we have some life resistance charms on the inventory. So one thing that I wanted to showcase real fast is, if you want to have 75 FCR for the most effective Blood Warp, you're gonna go with this exact gear that I'm showcasing, you're gonna need a 215 Necromancer amulet. We are currently playing at 48 FCR because of that. If you are content playing at 48 FCR anyway, there are a lot of options you have. You can skip Plague, you can go with Black Bogs. If you go here, for instance, you can see that you can, in fact, reach the 99 attack speed breakpoint if you wish to do that. We currently have 75, but if you want, you can definitely reach 99 with this, with corruptions, and you could even swap out these gloves for... well, actually, you couldn't... No, you can't swap them out. You have exactly 48 here with the 8 here. But if you have a better amulet, you can swap out the gloves and potentially go with attack speed gloves instead to reach that 99. So there are many things to consider when you are playing this character. It's a very interesting character. So let's just go over the build real quick. So I don't play anything in curses. I found that even casting lower res, it just takes too much time. There is really no need. So I skipped it completely after one of my viewers suggested that if we approach this without a curse, we get a lot stronger in our other aspects, and that would be very, very beneficial. So what we're doing here, we are maxing Psn Strike, of course, it's our main skill, and we're maxing the 2 synergies, Desecrate and Bone Armor. So Bone Armor gets a lot of bonus from energy, as you can see from the skill here. That's why we have 354 energy, and we have almost no vitality. The bigger the Bone Shield, the more physical damage you can absorb. If you like doing maps that have more spell damage, you could use the Absorb from Wisp. We are currently using a Nature's Piece to have more resistances against these schools of magic for exactly this reason. But you can choose to take a little bit more in vitality, a little bit less in energy, have a slightly weaker Bone Shield but higher health for spell damage attacks. Outside of that, we are using... what is it? I can't remember exactly how many points we put in here. I think we took... Blood Warp down to 1 second. I'm not entirely sure how many we put in there. But we maxed the Golem Mastery. I think we took like 12 or 13 in Blood Warp, and then we dumped the rest in Blood Golem. So basically the Blood Golem is here for healing you, because you are going to be Blood Warping a lot, and the hits that these guys make will help with your healing. It is a little bit problematic on the beta servers that we don't have corruptions, because we don't have mana and life per kill. So I'm gonna try to showcase this. Just keep in mind that your self-sufficiency will be higher than you can see in this video, because we would have life and mana per kill corruptions on maybe on rings, boots, gloves, whatever. You could even have a mana per kill jewel somewhere. So definitely many different ways of building this character. Let me just spawn in a standard of heroes and get a little bit more density on this map. Oh no, I already done that. My bad. I didn't see the heroic at first. I already had that. Alright, let's jump into the map and see what we can do. So obviously the first Bone Shield you have to cast yourself. And the way this build works is very much like Rabies. So you Blood Warp and you hit once, and then you just continue Blood Warping, because the damage will stack up and spread while you are moving to your next target. So you don't want to be static and wait for the targets to die. So I'm going to try to showcase this as best as I can. I haven't played this build very much. But as you can see, it is a little sketchy with the self-sufficiency here, but look at the damage. All of this is already dead. As long as I can cast one time, these creatures are already dead. But I am using healing potions now because I don't have life and mana per kill. That is a little bit problematic, but on live, you would have those for sure. And now you can see here, this is the problem with not having Innocence equipped. This is with Bramble. So you have to pay a lot more attention if you're playing Bramble and make sure that you don't lose your shield. So let me quickly equip that Bramble, guys, and then you will see. Check out the damage here. So we can run back actually. So you see here, virtually everything is dead, just from that initial one hit. So the character is very, very fast. But what you need to try to do is teleport to the correct position, so that you get clumps of creatures, and then you just jump from one to the next. So let's put on the Innocence, and I will show you how that looks. All right, we have a quickly respect to be able to put on the Innocence here, so you can see the difference here is we need a lot more strength. That also means we do not play max block anymore. So we have swapped out the Steel Shade and the Water Walks for Marowak and the Harlequin Crest. There's no need to play max block when you're doing Innocence. You want to be hit. When you're playing this variety, you want to take the hits, you don't want to be blocking. Because blocking will not proc your Blade Shield and Bone Armor. So we have also dumped a bit more points into energy with this build right here. So let's show you guys real quick what this variety of the build does. Let me cast that, and we have the not Heart of Wolverine, we have the Oak Sage, and we have the 5 Blood Golem. So the build is exactly the same as before, with Blood Warp down to 1 second. Oh, actually, I think I put in 1.2 little. Yeah, it's 1.2. Yeah, but you can take the Blood Warp down to whatever you are comfortable with. Attack speed here is perfectly fine. We are at the second highest attack speed breakpoint, but with corruptions here, you are able to reach 99. It's because you already have 75. So that's not really an issue. According to your budget and what items you have available to you, how much you wanna invest, I think reaching 99 shouldn't be much of a problem. And again, we do not have mana and life per kill at the moment, so I have to replace that with some potions, but you're gonna get the gist of it, and you can see in a few seconds here how strong this build actually is. Just Blood Warp and 1 stab and get the frack out. And we can circle back here and see all this shit is dead. You do leave some creatures, but for efficiency, monsters per minute, this is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous damage. And also these cows are pretty much the highest health total creatures in the entire game. So yeah, it's a very, very strong build, and as you can see, we get chunked a lot less when you're playing Innocence. Innocence helps immensely with proccing Bone Shield. You can hear the Bone Shield procs over and over and over and over. Basically every time Bone Shield procs, it refreshes the shield that you're running. So you can look at here, this is a 1577 damage physical shield. So if you're doing maps that have just physical damage, like for instance the cows, this is very, very nice. So we are gonna approach the boss here very, very soon, so let me show you the boss damage. Where's the boss? She's in there somewhere. There. As you can see, the boss damage is pretty solid. It is pretty solid. So, yeah, there are different ways of building this character, depending on your preference. It doesn't give it 100% realistic showcase when we don't have life and mana per kill, because the previous build you could see that I did get chunked a little bit more. I dropped lower in health. That wouldn't happen as much when you have mana and life per kill, but I have to say the Innocence version of this build is, in my opinion, a safer build, and if you want to try, I do recommend that you attempt the Innocence Martyrdom version of the Poison Dagger, or the Poison Strike, whatever they ended up calling it. Poison Strike was in fact correct. But yeah, there are different ways you can do this. You can skip the Karen Wind, you can have a SOJ, you can have a Wisp, you can have a rare ring with the life and mana per kill, with stats, FCR, whatever you might want. You can even go Crown of Ages, skip the 2 skills but get an extra facet, and then you have damage reduction, all rest there. There are many, many different ways of building this character, particularly when you go so high in strength as 164 anyway. It's only 10 more for a Crown of Ages. So skipping the 2 skills to get an extra socket, to get damage reduction, might not be a bad idea, but it's all up to your budget. It's a very, very cool build, much better build this season than what it was previously. So this one is one of the contenders for the build we are going to be playing this season. So we're going to jump on to the last one, and I hope you enjoyed this one as well. Make sure that you guess underneath for which build you think we are going to be playing. But I'll be back in a few seconds with the last of the builds that we are considering for this season. Time. Guys, it is time for the last build that we are considering this season. So this is the third out of the 3 builds we are considering. Leave your guess underneath if you want to guess which one we are going to end up with. And this is, in fact, the Psn Strike Assassin. It's a build that I have been interested in for a couple of seasons. I have seen it around here and there. And I have built it with a little bit of flavor towards what I enjoy and how I enjoy playing. So let me quickly go over the gear first. Because we are playing Ferocity for the taunt here, the build, or the weapon you should be using for Infinity becomes a Thresher, or a Giant Thresher. They have a breakpoint for attack speed at 42, as you can see here. So with 50 IS, Thresher becomes quite good. It's also good on 75. But I think if you can get to 60, you would want to use a Great Poleaxe or a Stygian Pike. But yeah, you have to figure out what attack speed you will end up on. That will depend on your belt corruption, your jewels. You can even go with Innocence here instead of Templars, but I wanted the Might Aura for the Leech, the physical damage Leech bonus on Bartox. But you can go Innocence, you can go Shaft Stop, there's many, many options. And of course, Laying of Hands and Gores, very standard. Yeah, I use these 3 items on virtually every single one of my mercenaries, Act 2 or 5. Infinity, of course, because we are playing Psn Strike, elemental damage. And then we use the Ferocity Rune Word for added safety for the taunt cast there. That's why we lose a little bit of attack speed. But you can go with Crown of Ages if you want that. Or even Vampire Gaze, Andy's Visage. There's many choices. So Definitely doesn't need to be this way, but that's what we chose this time around. Character, of course, running CTA. We are running a Kiras, so we have a 3-socketed Kiras. I'm using High Lords. High Lords is a little questionable, because your physical damage isn't that high, although the attack speed and the skill really helps when you're playing Fade. So if you don't go with High Lords, if you want to go with something else, you are going to have to consider a different item to make up for the 20 attack speed that you will lose if you do not use High Lords. It could be a Belt Corruption and a Glove Corruption. That would be fine. That could make up for this, and you can use any type of other amulet. You can use a 4-skill amulet with life. Many different options as well. So we are running Wisp for the Heart of Wolverine, also for Leech and for the Mercenary, and we have a BK for Leech and Skill Dungos, of course. We are using Gores. You can use Tri-Res Boots if you want. Many different things that you can use in this character. But here is what I like to do, or what I've been thinking to do, which is kind of my flavor to this character, which is we're playing a... we are playing a Bartux. So, notice there should be a Zodrune in here, guys. Notice that. That's on purpose. So, the reason we have Shale, Tier, Sur in here is because we don't have corruptions. I had to get life and mana per kill somehow, and we did that by shoving those in here. So don't lose your marbles over the fact that we don't have a Zodrune in here. I'm fully aware. There's supposed to be a Zodrune here. And then maybe attack speed jewels with mana per kill. Aureolic Jewel of Fervor, for instance. I think it's called. 3 mana per kill with attack speed. Or you can use all res attack speed. There's many things you can do. You can even use facets if you can get the attack speed elsewhere. Just make sure that you get to the highest attack speed breakpoint. And this is the way I like to build it. We have a 3 to Phoenix Strike Plague, and this is for 2 things. Well, actually, it's for 3 things. You have a lot of plus skills. So you have 2 from the Rune Word, and you have 3 from Phoenix Strike on the base. And the Cleansing Aura is absolutely monstrous. Cleansing Aura is unbelievably strong. It will remove curses in just a couple of seconds, so you don't have to worry about that. And it also casts lower resist at a very high rate. 30% casting lower res when you are struck. So you get good value out of this item, and it also allows you to play Claw Block instead of having to use Storm Shield, because we are, of course, playing on hardcore difficulty. So the build is, we have nothing in traps. Getting Blade Shield on the base. So if you can get a Plague with 3 to Phoenix Strike, 1 to Dragonflight, and 1 to Blade Shield, that's hands down the most perfect thing that you could possibly get. That base is going to be very hard to get, but 3 to Phoenix Strike with either Blade Shield or Dragonflight should be obtainable. If you can get both, that's like next level. But as you can see here, no matter which one you go for, you will save a lot of skill points. Because now I have to put in 3 skill points here to reach Dragonflight. And I would have to put in 2 skill points to reach Blade Shield. So, the build outside of that is in Martial Arts. We just max Fist of Fire, Claws of Thunder, Blades of Ice, and Phoenix Strike. And in Shadow Disciplines, I have taken Weapon Block. I have 10 points in Weapon Block. That's where the diminishing returns from the points really start kicking in. So 10 is where I stopped, and then I dump the rest of the points in Fade. Damage reduction, all resistance, all that jazz. And we can reach the maximum attack speed breakpoint anyway without using a burst of speed. So that is how I like to play this on hardcore. Okay. We are back. We got someone brought to the attention that I have actually not upgraded the Bartooks. That a mistake on my side. So I have upgraded this to a runic talon now, and done a quick respec to adjust for that. So yeah, just mention before we jump into the into the map here. I am fully aware that there is no Zodrune in my ethereal weapon. It's not going to break during the test, and this is purely to make up for the fact that we do not have corruptions on the beta server. So it's the attack speed, the mana per kill, and the life per kill on here. That's the reason the Zodrune is currently missing. But yeah, I'm aware it's not a mistake. It is in fact intentional to make up for that. But we do have a heroic cow map, so let's spawn that and let's take a look at how this character plays. So Fade and the Heart of the Wolverine, give it an extra level. So now you can see we are about 110 all res. We have about 10,000 Phoenix Strike damage, and we have about 3,000 physical damage baked inside here, and that will help you leech. Our physical hit chance is about 91%, so we're not going to leech on every hit, but I think the spells will hit 100%. I think they have a 100% hit chance. So let's just blast and see how this goes. And we do not play Enigma, of course. We have Shaft Stop for damage reduction. So we are, in fact, playing Dragonflight. That's why the Dragonflight on the Phoenix Strike Claw is so important. So this build is very, very cool. I do like it quite a lot. It becomes a little bit similar to the jab. It's not going to be an S-tier build, but as a melee build, it is a very, very cool build, and the damage is quite high, as you can see here. Pay attention to the health total on the left. You can see that because we have a ethereal main hand weapon, we do reach quite a solid amount of health here. So when you do in fact get hit once in a while, you will leech that life back in no time. You see there, just a couple of hits and we are already back to full health. So the sustain on this character is very, very good. Oh, we are actually having a little bit of a disconnect here. That is not amazing. Let's hope that is quick, so we can get back to this. This is a very cool build, very, very cool build. Hardcore friendly internet has been mentioned from the chat here. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely hardcore friendly internet right now. But it is what it is. It's hopefully gonna get better soon. Dragonflight is solely used for mobility. It's not used for damage. But yeah, as you're mentioning in chat here, there are different ways of playing this build. Absolutely, this is just the way that I prefer to build it. It's very, very durable. You can block spells with the claw block, so you become. You're not super strong against only spells or only physical. You are relatively strong against both of them. So it's unlikely that, for instance, with the Poison Dagger or the Poison Strike Necromancer that we have just showcased, where he's extremely strong against physical and quite vulnerable against spells. This character is solid against both spells and physical because of the way that it works. And we are running, of course, damage reduction on top of that. And we also have cleansing aura. So this character is an absolute live lord. The combination of the high damage reduction and about 50% block chance with claw block, and the fact that you can block spells is very, very strong. And you also have many different schools of magic. You're doing both cold, lightning, and fire damage, in addition to a relatively decent amount of physical damage. Okay, we are approaching the final boss here, so I just want to show you how the single target damage looks like. So basically, what I have found works well is you slap the boss up to 3 stacks, and then you swap to single target damage. So you swap to Claws of Thunder. So we're gonna do that right now. Let me show you how that looks. So where is the boss?
No.
There. So we hit the boss up to 3 stacks, and then we swap.
No.
So the single target damage is perfectly fine, even though this is primarily a AoE damage character. It also has solid single target damage. This is a very cool build. It is, however, a bit of a journey to get to this gear. Obviously, you don't need a 30 DR shaft stop. You don't even need 3 sockets. You can go with 2 sockets. You can have a 2-socket Kira's. High Lords is fairly simple. Non-F Bartox is free. So yeah, it's not very expensive until you get to the Wisp Projector and I guess the Plague. The rest of the gear is fairly manageable. And then we do have, of course, Infinity. I wouldn't recommend playing this build without Infinity. So Infinity and Plague is pretty much where the cost of this build will lie. You don't need to use Templars. You can have other armors. Shaft Stop will work just fine. You can use Vampire Gaze up here as well instead of the Ferocity. So many different ways of attacking this character build depending on your budget and the flavor that you want to put into it. My flavor is Plague Offhand for the +5 to skills and the lower resistance when struck. It is a very, very nice addition. Definitely not needed, definitely not mandatory, but I like the addition to the build. So yeah, that was the 3rd build. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure that you leave a guess underneath of what build we are going to play this season, and I hope you're back for the next video. Until then, take care, and I will see you soon.